Hey everyone, I'm Joe and welcome to a little bonus video, a sort of epilogue to the Bioshock 2 playthrough. We're going to be checking out There Is Something in the Sea by the channel Inside of Mind. Now, I saw a few comments suggesting I react to this before I played Bioshock 2. I forgot, I'm sorry, but judging what it's apparently about from reading the description, I think it's fine that we sort of experience the game and experience the story first before reacting to this, because it says there is something in the sea. Disappearances are happening all over the world during the 60s, and a middle-aged man known as Mark Meltzer is convinced they're all connected. We follow his journey as he tries to uncover the truth of a secret civilization living underneath the ocean. There's Something in the Sea was created in the build-up to the sequel of Bioshock, Bioshock 2. Follow the journey, see how Mark Meltzer connects the dots to find true Rapture. So yeah, apparently this was sort of a campaign thing that was done in the lead up to Bioshock 2, following Mark, who we know from the game. Obviously one of my favourite parts of Bioshock 2 actually. Yeah, I thought his story was great, and this is essentially an expansion of that, going into what was happening with him before he actually went into Rapture, and just his whole story apparently. So I'm very excited to check this out. Also really quick, if you'd like to see my reaction to the other endings for Bioshock 1 and 2, the bad endings, all that stuff, they're very dark. I've done so on Patreon. It's going to say as a Patreon exclusive video, I think, for now. So if you'd like to support the channel, go over there and check that out. And let's jump into this and see what's going on. I have actually watched a few videos by this channel, by the way. I'm subscribed. Inside of Mind are great, and I imagine they'll do this justice. This is the only thing I can actually find of this on the internet. Like I said, a couple of people suggested that I watch this before Bioshock 2, but given what it's about, I think it's fine that we got Mark's full story in the game, and now we get to see a bit more of an expansion on that. So, let's go.
Mark, this is Phil Isidore of NUFOS, National UFO Society. We've been trading research with you regarding marine sightings and phenomena, and, well, frankly, we're getting kind of concerned. Nobody's heard back from you in a few weeks. Hopefully you've been receiving the material. We all hope you're okay, Mark. Be in touch.
Daddy, where are you, Daddy?
Yeah, so this was all put together by this channel, sort of putting everything together that was done in the campaign, I believe, in the build-up. Like I said, I've watched a couple of videos of this channel, they're great. It's got voice acting and everything, look, holy crap. Also a really cool thing to do in the build-up to the game, by the way. I imagine if you'd followed that for so long and then played the game and followed along with Mark's story, that would have been so cool. Like I said, I still love his story, he's one of my favourite parts. There's something in the sea, there certainly is.
In 2009, internet users discovered a website called somethinginthesea.com, containing a map of the world with an X marked on the location of island, listed with the date. 3 images are pinned in the top right corner, a picture of a strange doll followed by a news article of a missing girl dated February 20th, 1967.
Parents of a local girl continue their vigil after a shocking break-in resulting in the apparent kidnapping of their 7-year-old daughter. Local fisherman Eamon Clune, 44, and his wife, Charlotte, 32, were awoken by the sudden shattering of a window in the front room. Moments later, his daughter Maura, age 7, screamed. The Clunes have received no word from the kidnapper nor any demand for ransom. Sergeant Michael Whalen encourages anyone with information to come forward and advises that time is of the essence.
The third item was a letter from someone known as Jeremiah Lynch, claiming to have found the strange doll on a beach close to where the young girl vanished. Almost every day for an entire year, the website will be updated with new clues and puzzles in the build-up for a sequel to the critically acclaimed Bioshock.
Wow, that is great. The devs did all
On
that.
day 2, the website brings us more
I love
documents
that.
to scavenge through following the disappearance of Maura Clune. We find another letter from Jeremiah Lynch documenting strange footprints found on a beach with a human shoe placed next to it for comparison.
Per your request, find enclosed copies of photos taken on La Hinch Beach, morning of 17th February, with notes.
Yeah, I'm actually going to turn those
Do not
off.
hesitate to contact me with
Put them on for
further
yourself if you need them.
queries, as the local authorities have failed to perceive the significance of this matter.
The next day, 2 more X's have been marked on the board with 2 new documents of young girls being abducted. A pattern is starting to emerge. The kidnappings seem to be taking place after midnight, all of them young girls between 5 to 7, living close to the ocean, brown hair, big eyes. Some of the reports include the families encountering the kidnapper from a distance and believing to have seen some kind of red light flashing from the top of their heads. To add to the mystery, a picture of a red light flashing underneath the ocean was taken by a shipping vessel 50 miles from the shore of one of the attacks. The news article connected to it claims the light was moving at an incredibly fast speed.
Whatever it is, it's taking our daughters.
Wow, this is so cool.
As the days go by, we find out more girls are going missing under similar circumstances, along with an increase in reports of red light sightings underneath the sea at similar times. We finally get the name of our mystery man who's been investigating these cases, with a letter sent to him from officials dismissing his theories that the disappearances are connected.
Mark Meltzer. This is to acknowledge receipt of your file of photostats of news articles sent on the 2nd of June. We fail to see the purported connection between these incidents or how this poses a threat to America's shores. The Observer has no interest in fueling a panic in these volatile times. We suggest you seek professional help.
Damn.
Doesn't anyone
I can
notice
recommend
the
a great
patterns?
therapist.
There is something
She lives under the
in
ocean.
sea.
Mark's conspiracy theories eventually picked up by the media, unfortunately the wrong kind. A magazine that is dedicated to sensationalizing ridiculous conspiracy theories decides to cover the story.
Sea creature stealing children on New Jersey coast?
This was inevitable. Only the kooks will listen now.
On the 10th day, Mark has figured out a pattern on how these creatures are choosing their victims. He predicts the next kidnapping will be taking place at St. John in New Brunswick. So, he explains in a letter that he'll be travelling down to the location in hopes to snap a picture and prove he was right. He camped out there for 3 days before eventually seeing something in the water, following it with a photo of the creature emerging.
3 cold nights in the sand, but success. Can't shake the feeling that it saw me. Maybe even followed me.
Wow. I would have loved to have been here for all this.
Mark,
More
this is
games
Bill
should
do
Isidore
this.
of NUFOS, National UFO Society. We've been trading research with you regarding marine sightings and phenomena, and, well, frankly, we're getting kind of concerned. Nobody's heard back from you in a few weeks. Hopefully you've been receiving the material. Let me just double-check your address. We all hope you're okay, Mark. Be in touch.
A few weeks later, the website updates into Stage 2. We're now in Mark's office, with pictures scattered across the floor, crutches lying on the desk, along with x-rays of broken ribs followed by divorce papers. Something horrible happened here. As the days go by, more clues begin appearing around the room. We discover that the creature Mark had hunted down really had seen him, and followed him back home.
Oh my
We can
God.
find an answering machine message from Lieutenant Commander Roscoe Inman, offering help in the investigation of his daughter Cindy's disappearance.
Meltzer, Inman here. Just found out about your accident. Call me ASAP and give me the brief. I'm hoping you got some kind of assessment of what we're up against. And if you found any leads regarding your daughter's whereabouts, let me know if there's anything I can do on this end. Still monitoring intel, but it's dead quiet. I got 0 for weeks now.
Mark clearly had a breakdown after losing his daughter, and was admitted to the Tollevue Hospital in the state of New York. According to this letter found on the desk in the corner, it appears he's just been released, stating that he poses no immediate threat of harm to himself or others. However, his obsession with the disappearing children cases has only amplified after Cindy went missing.
It's like everyone's
He
in
now
on
has
it,
a goal
aren't
to
they?
aim for. He wants his daughter back. Whatever took Cindy, it doesn't seem like it's finished with Mark just yet. Another voicemail is left by a man known as Benny Stango. He's the investigator looking into the disappearance of Mark's daughter, but Benny is beginning to suspect that Mark is the one behind Cindy's disappearance.
Oh, damn.
As his neighbors were reporting a strange red light could be spotted coming from his house the previous night.
Hey, Meltzer, old buddy. It's Benny Stango. I'm starting to get worried about you. The neighbors are telling me they saw some kind of red light flashing around your place the other night. You don't know anything about that, do you? give me a call. At the station. Today.
Following the red lights, a strange-looking box could be found in Mark's office the next day, with mysterious markings covering it. To open the box, players figured out it was Cindy's birthday, using a cipher that could be found in a book titled A Child's Garden for Ciphers, with clear hints from Mark sticking out at the top.
Why don't more games do this?
Same code as Lunchbox?
Inside the box, we find drawings of little girls holding hands with strange creatures, while others holding needles.
So by this
Mark
point, everyone
manages
was
to get
aware
in
that it was
contact with Phil
Bioshock
Isidore to
related,
discuss
right?
the strange markings upon what he calls the lunchbox. In doing so, Isidore brings up the vanishing.
Mark, you asked about the vanishing the other day, okay? What I think you're referring to is, right after World War II, there was this wave of disappearances all over America. I mean, all over Europe. Heck, all over the world. We're talking some pretty prominent individuals, doctors, scientists, up-and-coming artists, successful businessmen. At the time, it all got suspiciously ignored by the newspapers. But the weird thing is, we're talking 1946, 1947, and you know what else is going on? Bingo! All the breakthrough sightings. Mount Rainier, Maury Island, Roswell. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, some hippie magazine did a cover story on the vanishing this month. Check it out.
Phil sends Mark an article from the Monthly Underground talking about a huge historical event that barely anyone has heard about.
In the wake of World War II, hundreds, possibly thousands, of people simply vanished, including some of the world's most uncompromising and underappreciated talents in the world of art, science, and industry. Where did they all go?
They went for a swim.
The article discussed how some of the most intelligent people between 1946 and 1950 suddenly disappeared without a trace. No one has an explanation for this, except for Phil. Next to the article, he also sent the first chapter of a story talking about a mythical underwater city known as Eutropolis. Phil believes that's where all these intelligent people went, and could still be alive to this day. And Phil isn't the only one who believes this theory. Jeremiah Lynch, who we heard earlier, also believes something similar. However, it's not necessarily Eutropolis he believes in, but rather Atlantis.
Well, I thought I had finally reached you, but apparently it's some bloody machine I'm speaking with again. I do wish you'd let me know your current status, for I've got a number of leads that may be worth pursuing. In fact, I've just posted you a book regarding the North Atlantic Triangle. I'm sure you'll find it of interest. It's, how shall I put it, a popular book? A lurid little paperback, in fact.
He has many theories connecting to this, and even sends a book to Mark called The Frozen Triangle that suggests a particular area between Greenland and Iceland could hold the location of this lost civilization. Now,
See, I know a lot of people, it's easy to say like, oh, I don't want a TV show or a movie made. I know, I get it. It's a tough thing to debate, but I really think a TV show or movie with a focus like this, you know what I mean? A movie about Mark's story, something, for example, set in this universe would be so good. Or just a book about it or something. I know there's books that Bioshock are based on, like the ones by Ayn Rand and stuff, but like a proper book going into the lore of all this and having a focused story with people like Mark. There is so much they could do with this whole prospect, and this is just so well put together. My mind is fluttering with possibilities, you know?
now that Mark knows about the vanishing, he's beginning to wonder if this has any connection to the little girls going missing near the sea. Could there really be a civilization living under the ocean? If so, why are they taking our daughters? A few days later, after falling down the rabbit hole of the vanishing, Mark receives a vinyl record in the post called Rise, Rapture, Rise. It can be played on his record to the right side of the office. The song plays before being cut off and replaced with a young girl's voice.
Daddy, where are you, Daddy? Are you going to come and find me?
That is terrifying.
What does this mean? Who sent it? Is it a clue to my daughter's whereabouts? It sounds exactly like her.
He spends the next few hours calling up record stores to find the origin of the track or the name of the label, but no luck. The word Rapture appears to be important, though. It's a word that's been mentioned during Mark's findings.
Did they send that to him
or
to
more specifically,
lure him down
by a
there?
man known as Orrin Oscar Lutwidge, an inventor who began researching deep into the vanishing event before disappearing himself back in 1958, claiming he will not return until he has found true rapture.
19 die in Broadway blaze. A fast-spreading fire ripped through a series of loft buildings in lower Manhattan, claiming the lives of 17 workers and 2 firefighters. The blaze appears to have been touched off by an explosion in a local inventor's workspace. Further complicating the investigation is the mysterious disappearance of inventor Orrin O. Lutwidge. Lutwidge, who also owns the building, was reported missing 3 months ago.
With the connections becoming more apparent, Mark decides to track down Lutwidge's old workplace, which of course mysteriously burned down 3 months after his disappearance. But, now knowing the location, Mark decides to visit the site after solving one of Lutwidge's riddles. The riddle led to a metal box hidden underneath the floorboards of the building.
Listening to Lutwidge's words, it's as if he knew I was coming.
For now, the box can't be opened, but several more puzzles by Lutwidge were discovered, one of them decoding to 10 locations, all of them different beaches across the globe. With the hints put forward, Mark theorized that something was going to happen on the 8th of August at all these locations. He asked his colleagues who were helping with the case at the time to visit the other 9 locations while he visited the 10th. On August 8th, a bottle washed up on all 10 shores,
Oh my
with
god,
a
this is
few
insane.
promotional posters inside. One of them appears to be an invitation to Rapture. Mark decides to pull up some working theories on what he believes Rapture could be.
Rapture is a place, apparently a city. Rapture is where I'll find Cindy.
That's so
Destination
cool.
of abducted children?
This channel's
Rapture
awesome.
is somehow connected to the vanishing.
Go and subscribe if you
Location
haven't
of
already.
Rapture may be connected with so-called Frozen Triangle in Iceland-Greenland region.
After Mark continues to investigate the story of Lutwidge and the location of Rapture, one of the victims who lost their father during the vanishing was working alongside Lutwidge and decided to step forward and send Mark a letter, explaining that Lutwidge isn't actually dead, but very much alive.
Dear Mark, I can no longer lie to you. Ludwig is alive. One night, there was an activity in one of Ludwig's laboratories. The lights had gone on. I took the next flight from Paris to New York. I peered through the window to see Ludwig, hunched over a typewriter, naked, hammering the keys with inhuman focus. They told me that Ludwig, or whatever he called himself, had been committed to an asylum.
It appears Lutwidge is going by a different name, known as Killian Quain, the man who wrote the story of Eutropolis. He's currently being treated in the same psychiatric hospital Mark was sent to during his breakdown. In a desperate attempt to find this man, Mark fakes a mental breakdown in hopes to be readmitted back into the same hospital as Lutwidge himself.
Wow, this
After
guy's
succeeding
awesome.
in finding Lutwidge, he was released from hospital and left several notes on his desk documenting his encounter.
And knowing where his story
Wayne
ends up
didn't
is so sad.
seem very
Everything he went
nervous.
through.
He just sat in the wheelchair, rocking. It took me
But
an hour or more.
He did
to
find
break
his daughter,
through,
you know,
offering my tapioca as a peace
at least.
trying to help, proffering tools. He ignored me until I whispered the word Eutropolis. Those black glassy eyes landed on me, lit up with a kind of rage. Eutropolis is Rapture, I said, and you were Lutwidge. I am the Seeker, I told him, the one you've been waiting for. And for one moment, his face relaxed. He looked almost human. Then, take this, he intoned. He gave me the cylinder, a gift, and a warning.
Mark was given a new puzzle in the shape of a cylinder. Inside contained Lutwidge's journals after finding Rapture, but not too much could be made of them, as it appears to be just the ramblings of a madman.
In the sea of wreckage gleams the golden eye that leads the bold to rapture, and the rest to merely die. All these years, Orin has been shunned by the Master of Wonderland, as if there was no room for him. But there was plenty of room.
It appeared Mark was getting closer to a breakthrough, until he started receiving threats from the individual known as the Red Pawn. This person had broken into his house, attempting to open the metal box that he found under the floorboards in Lutwich's old workspace.
Mr. Meltzer, this is Dash Carmody from Auger Detection. If you want me to take a look at this threatening letter you received, maybe we can see if it's coming from the same individual. We always figured that Lutwich had an accomplice. And if you got any leads on who that might be, I'm all ears.
Through much back and forth, it was later revealed that the Red Pawn was Jeremiah Lynch, the man who had helped Mark through his investigations earlier. He was only using Mark to try and open the metal box for himself, as he believed whatever was inside held the key to finding Rapture. Several days go by, and Mark begins to question if any of it is even true, or whether it was all just made up inside the mind of a madman. But one day, two key events take place that switch Mark's motivation. While Mark was walking alongside a beach, he came across a sandcastle with markings that decoded to, "What's taking so long? Daddy, come find me." Shortly after, a message from Benny Stango, the detective that believed Mark was behind his own daughter's disappearance, explains how he saw one of those things.
Meltzer! Jesus, Meltzer! This is Detective Stango here, and Christ! Tell me you saw that friggin' thing at the beach. Look, hey, I admit it. I've been staking out your place. I figure it's been a year, you might do something stupid thinking it all blew over.
It's been a year.
But then, I saw that red light flashing by the water around 3 a.m. I had to check it out, and... Jesus, Meltzer, what is that thing? I took a shot at it. Didn't even flinch. I ran the whole way back to the squad car. Yeah, I gotta remember.
Yeah, that's
to clean
big
the
sisters
seat.
for you. You need a lot more than
Meltzer,
a little pistol.
I never believed you, all right? I'm sorry. Just give me a call. No. Screw that. As far as I'm concerned, this whole friggin' matter is officially closed.
So at this point, I'm trying to sort of figure out the timeline. This is after Andrew Ryan is all gone and Sophia Lamb's taken over, right? 'Cause she's the ones that created the Big Sisters. Assuming the Big Sisters are the ones that went up and kidnapped the girls. I think they were, right? That's what we saw in the picture. But it's probably before the whole thing with... Like, it's before Bioshock 2 actually takes place, because when we find Mark, he's a big daddy, and Cindy's a little sister. So... Is it around that time? Is all this during that 5-year period after Subject Delta was shot at the beginning? I'm trying to figure out the timeline.
At the very end of Phase 2, we see the typewriter and several other items are missing from the office, with a letter to Phil Isidore claiming he's had a breakthrough and he can't wait to meet him in person.
As we discussed on the phone last night, I'll be headed down to your area. If I'm interpreting the signs correctly, Lutwich's game seems to be leading in a very specific direction. It's time to follow the trail, wherever it leads.
One final note can be found on the desk as the lights are dimmed out. It simply reads, "Gone fishing."
Wow. Goosebumps.
Mark has used the last of his savings to board the SS Nellie Bly in order to finally find Rapture. The metal puzzle box and the rest of the missing items from his office can be found here, along with a message from Phil Isidore wishing us happy travels.
This is Zebra Niner Zebra, Uncle Foxtrot Oscar to 1 Baker Charlie Mike 1 Mike. Meltzer, do you read? Meltzer, we've just got to do something about that microphone before you leave dock. I can't hear you at all. You should be all set for transmission. I've mailed QSL cards out to all my international contacts. They'll be able to relay information if I can't get through. I'll meet you at the dock to help you load out the rest of your stuff. Good luck, Mark. This is really exciting. Zebra Niner Zebra, Uncle Foxtrot Oscar, over and out.
Most of his research is coming from the book The Frozen Triangle, hoping that this will lead him to Cindy. Upon his travels, Mark manages to actually get in contact with the author himself, who presents him with a brand new book called Back to the Frozen Triangle. Within it, an entire chapter focused directly on something he refers to as the Phantom Lighthouse, located somewhere within the triangle, and also the entrance to Rapture. Mark doesn't believe it at first until he cracks the code on the puzzle box containing a compass with a message from Ludwig himself describing a black tower with a light somewhere within the triangle.
The tower's black, the light is bright, but in this world where wrong is right, fall not prey to the shades of grey. Defend the sisters on your way. This is Orin Oscar Ludwig, one old lost soul, remembering Rapture.
Upon following the compass to Rapture, the ship picks up a distress call. It appears someone else has encountered the Phantom Lighthouse.
It's not a goddamn lighthouse. We've got to be 100 miles from shore. Where did it come from, then? We've encountered what appears to be a lighthouse. It's not on any chart. Please advise. What the hell is that? Mayday! Mayday! This is Vessel Hotel Alpha Charlie Kilo November.
Upon the final night, the lighthouse is spotted in the distance. But before they get any closer, splashing can be heard outside of the boat. Something attacked the ship, killing all the crew and sinking the SS Nellie Bly.
Damn.
But not before Mark escapes.
Now we're in the
The
game.
rest of Mark's story can be found within Bioshock 2. Recordings can be found scattered throughout Rapture, documenting his experiences.
Barely made it down alive. But here it is. And it's real.
And I'm realising the reason he's the only one that has colour is because he's not from Rapture, he's from the surface. The only character who's from the surface.
Most of the city's in ruins.
I theorised at the end that it was because, oh, he's the only actual good character that's in the game, you know? So he really was, it was just a guy looking for his daughter.
I guess. But maybe, if I find this Dr. Lamb I keep hearing over the PA, I'll find Cindy too.
What a story this is.
As he delves deeper, he begins to search for the person in charge in hopes to find his daughter. Upon exploring, he comes across more creatures, along with a strange element called Adam.
These people are hooked on some kind of genetic wonder drug called Adam. I've read the word splicer scribbled on walls like a warning. One of them cornered me and Christ, his face. I had a gun, but I choked. And then out of nowhere, we both heard this singing. And he took off like hell on wheels. It sounded like a kid. A little girl. Cindy's alive. I know it in my gut.
It's not too long after before he finds one of the little girls, also known as a little sister.
I found one of those children at last. Filthy dress, all alone. I approached her, praying that it was my little girl. But she was gorging herself on blood from a corpse. It wasn't her. I stared, just reeling. And then that skinny, armored freak that took Cindy jumped me, shrieking like an animal. I escaped, but could Cindy
Props
have
to him
become
for
one of
managing
those?
to get away from all those big sisters, by the way.
I've got to find her, now more than ever.
What a badass.
Mark also discovers why they're taking children from the surface.
This Lamb woman's powers of manipulation are almost scary. Her people are using the girls from the surface to gather Adam from Lamb's followers. It's in the blood. And eventually they give themselves over. Like dying is an honor. I'd almost feel sorry for them if they didn't have my daughter. I'm going to find Lamb and take Cindy back one way or another.
But of course, nothing is ever that simple.
I found her. Found Cindy by this rusted carousel. But she was just standing there, staring. waiting for the music. And she doesn't even recognize me. What have they done to her? Listen to her.
The man in the moon is a girl, Mr. Bubbles.
Listen, if anyone hears this, I have to know how to cure her. No! Get back! She's my little girl!
That was the last we heard from him for ages. You assume he just died, and then actually you get to near that end section of the game, and well, I killed him thinking it was a regular Big Daddy and a little sister, and then I read the name and I was gobsmacked. The way it's done with him just being a random Big Daddy that you find, and we did at least manage to rescue Cindy in little sister form.
At first it appears we're left on a mystery of what happened to Mark, until we reach the level of Fontaine Futuristics, where we are confronted with this Big Daddy. By killing it, the name switches to Mark, and a recording can be played.
Ask yourself, Mr. Meltzer, is it better to be summarily executed as an outsider caught within these grounds, or to be united not just with your daughter Cindy, but with the Rapture family as well? The choice is yours. I urge you to accept the Protector program. You will live by her side and remember nothing beyond your love for her.
I wasn't the first to find Rapture, you crazy bitch. And I won't be the last. You do whatever you want to me. As long as I'm with Cindy, I'm a happy man.
Geez, Mark, I've been trying you on the radio, and then I heard what happened to the Nellie Bly. I can't believe it. I just hope it's not true. It is, isn't it? You couldn't win. I'll be thinking of you, Mark, of you and Cindy. I'm not going to forget, Mark. I'm not going to let any of this go to waste. I still believe. I'm going to carry on this fight. The truth will out, do you hear me? The truth will out. Goodbye, Mark.
Mr. Meltzer, this is Charles Molly, Esquire, representing Amanda K. Meltzer in the matter of the divorce. I understand there were a few panicked phone calls over the weekend, something about a children's book that belonged to your daughter. And I'm led to understand you've liquidated the last of your family assets. Your neighbors seem to believe you were packing up for some extended trip. I do hope that isn't true, Mr. Meltzer. We have a court date very soon, and I will be very disappointed if I don't see you. You can't run away from your problems, Meltzer. Do call us back, won't
And
you?
no one's ever going to know what actually happened to him.
I hope you enjoyed Mark's story, and appreciate the amount of detail the creators of Bioshock 2 went into fully flesh out this character. And you can actually play the game yourself on rapturearchives.org, as every single day has been documented here. But the bad news is that the site runs on Flash, which is something that will no longer be supported by mainstream browsers by the end of 2020. So, if you really ever wanted to explore this game and find out some of the extra things that I didn't mention in this video, then this is kind of your last chance to do it, because this site will no longer be able to function once this year is up. Thank you all for watching.
And it's unfortunately, let me check the date, 6 years after that. Dude! What a story that was, and what an incredibly put together video. Please go and support this channel and subscribe to me if you haven't already. Inside of Mine do some really good stuff. They even did all the voice acting themselves, I believe. That was incredible, and I really think characters like Mark and the detail that they put into all of those side characters and the side stories that you follow along with the diaries and stuff is just, it's the heart and soul of these games. And how hyped that would have been to have been able to experience the build up to that. I love stuff like that, and I really wish more games would do that kind of thing. And I'm really glad I watched this. What a great character, great story, and it's just heartbreaking what happened to him, but yeah, thank you for suggesting I watch this, and I'm really glad I did it, even though it would have been sort of more impactful, I guess, if we watched it before. It was nice to watch it as a sort of prequel to get more story out of that guy, and because he really is one of my favourite parts of that game. Seeing his name on the seemingly random Big Daddy was a highlight of that final episode for me, and it was nice to watch this as a sort of epilogue to the series. This whole series means a lot to me, and thank you all for being here for it. I'll see you soon. Bye guys. And don't go swimming, you never know what you might find, by the way.